Good morning, everyone. It's Sal, Stretford Post. How you doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing fine. Thank you so much for joining me today. Of course, guys, hope you can hear me loud and clearly, loud and smoothly. Hope everything is good with you this Tuesday morning where I am, guys, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining me today. Of course, guys, you're absolute legends. Apologies, not been around much because of obvious events. But, guys, I am here every single morning for you guys to bring you the latest and the greatest in regards to Manchester United, the greatest football team in the world. Of course, guys, that's how we see it. Of course, guys. Now, guys, before I start, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to smash a like on the video. Don't forget to put your notifications on. All that jazz, that'd be absolutely fantastic. If you can keep the channel growing, of course, guys, the best channel in content creation, guys. The realist in content creation, guys. Absolutely, guys. Because everyone, all those other content creators, you know what they'll be doing right now. Absolutely. So at the end of the day, thank you so much for joining me today. Big up, everyone. And let's get it going, guys. Let's talk briefly about the midfield situation. Casemiro has come out and said that Manchester United to sign Bruno Guimaraes. Now, look, I admire, obviously, Casemiro. I think Casemiro is the only player in our team that has actually really achieved phenomenal things, of course. So, obviously, look, we can take it with a little bit of a pinch of salt. We can say that, oh, well, Casemiro is because it's his countryman. It's Guimaraes is his countryman and blah, 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 blah. Do you know what I mean? And, what I would say is this, right? I like Guimaraes. Bruno Guimaraes is a brilliant player. I do. And I think he's absolutely phenomenal player. But, 28 years old, valued about £90 million, guys. It's 90 million euros. Valued at around that much. Guys, it's been reported that 2026 summer deals for Newcastle midfielder Bruno Fernandes, naming him as one of the 3 midfielders the club is interested in. Man United are interested in. It is reported that Manchester United view Guimaraes as a key player for club's future and that Casemiro recommended his signing in February 2026. Transfer journalist Ben Jacobs revealed on the United stand that Newcastle has a verbal agreement with Guimaraes to sell him to a Champions League club for around 80 to 90 million euros, guys. So obviously, this puts it firmly in Manchester United's court, because if Manchester United do qualify, it's likely Man United are going to qualify for the Champions League, doesn't it? It does look like we're going to qualify for the Champions. So that means that Newcastle are not going to qualify for the Champions League. So obviously that adds a string to our bow. And this is something that we've been talking about in regards to contractual stipulations and things like that. We have to look at contractual, what's in the contract. If Newcastle don't qualify for the Champions League, for example, what's going to happen with Newcastle? Are a lot of their players going to leave? They've got a lot of players that we would like at their team, isn't it? I don't know. Of course, they're very rich, but it doesn't matter how rich you are if you're not organically making money, if you're not in the Champions League, and you're not building up a fan base. Look, we all know Newcastle United are a very, very big club in Newcastle, not in the world. They're in Newcastle. They're a very big club. We all know about that. But when we look at Newcastle United as a whole, as a collective in regards to their fan base, it's the reason they can't really sign any players, because organically they don't make enough money. And if Newcastle United don't qualify for the Champions League, it does look likely they may have to sell some of their prize assets, including Guimaraes. That would be a good signing for Man United. I would. However, I do feel that Guimaraes is a little bit older, a little bit too older, if you know what I mean. He's obviously 28 years old, getting on 29. So, do we really want to do that deal, or do we want to concentrate a few younger players, if you know what I mean? Look, obviously we're not going to get all the targets. We know Man United don't really get all the targets anyway. We don't really sign everyone that we're after. But, I would say that Guimaraes would be a good signing if we had other midfield players coming in as well. He would represent an experienced Premier League player coming into this team. Would be I think a good move for Man United. I really do think that. I think having Guimaraes in this team would be an absolute game changer. Of course it would, but we have to look at players for the future as well. Obviously, Guimaraes touching 30. How long is he going to be at Manchester United for? And we have to wait and see. And how long can his legs keep up? We know that Casemiro is a brilliant player. We know how good Casemiro is, how important Casemiro is. But as we know all too well, he can't last full games. He can't play every single game. At the end of the day, we have to look at players that are athletic. We have to look at players that are younger. in my opinion, because obviously the Premier League is relentless in regards to that. It's relentless. The Premier League's relentless, and you can't have players there like who can only last 60 odd minutes and things like that. Do you know what I mean? I would say at the end of the day, guys. So let me know what you think about the Gamirish one. Gamirish one is interesting because the one thing about Gamirish is that he is a little bit overpriced, in my opinion. He's a very good player, don't get me wrong, but I think he's a little bit overpriced. And looking at the age group as well, I just feel like it would be a little bit of a mistake, if you know what I mean, given the players that are available in the market around the world that we could possibly bring in. Of course, there are players around the world that, you know, would fit the bill a lot more effectively, in my opinion. That's just my opinion in regards to that. I think players that are going to be there for a number of years and not just going to be at Man United for a couple of years, if you know what I mean, guys. Absolutely. So we'll wait and see, guys. But I actually think that if he was 25, I'd be like all over it. 24, 25, Gamirish all day long. I'd be like, but I would much rather get Tonali from Newcastle than Gamirish, in my opinion. I actually think it'd probably be cheaper as well, in my opinion. I'd much rather get Tonali than Gamirish. Tonali would be a much more smart, shrewd move than Gamirish, in my opinion, guys. Absolutely. Big up the community. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome aboard, guys. I hope everyone is blessed. I hope everyone is good. Good morning, Ephraim. Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Sal, your family. I hope you're all right. Thank you so much. So far, so good, my friend. Hello, Sal. Good morning, Sam. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. I prefer United should wait until the end of the season, even if they are giving a Carrick this Carrick. Yeah, no. I want to talk about Michael Carrick briefly. Of course, I'm going to talk about him in a minute. I'm going to give my opinions of that, of course, and what I think. I don't know why you are surprised, Sal. We always knew that this was going to happen. And Vibes FC is back. Absolutely, Bernard. I should have known. Absolutely. Look, you know what I would say is that I'm going to speak about this Michael Carrick thing. Now, obviously, there is rumours circling around that Michael Carrick is about to be handed a 3-year contract. Now, it's like we haven't learned our lessons, isn't it? It's like we haven't learned our lessons. We're already talking about giving him a new contract, and we're getting a little bit too giddy here. Look, we are in February, right? It's been like, is it a month since he's been charged of Man United? It's been fantastic so far. It's been good. The results-wise, it's been good. Performance-wise, have been very, very questionable. We've been fairly lucky in various games, but we are doing well on a results level. But we know as well as you know as well as I do that it's not just about that. You have to look at things objectively and look at the way the team is playing. And we can't play like that from the start of the season next season. We have to start playing good football. We have to start having a style of play. Because at the moment, I'm looking at Man United and I'm looking at a counter-attacking style of football that is very, very Ole Gunnar Solskjaer-esque. Now, apparently, Man United want to offer Michael Carrick a 3-year deal. Now, this is a little bit giddy. This is a little bit overly, how would I say it? Panic, in my opinion. It is over the top, in my opinion. And I would say that giving Michael Carrick a new contract right now would be a mistake, in my opinion. I just feel like that it would be a mistake, and we have to obviously understand that Michael Carrick is done well, but we know with you know as well as I do that interim managers are, it's a different sort of managerial thing, isn't it? At the end of the day, what I would say, because it's about. It's a vibe FC, as people were saying. It's a vibe FC. It's something like a bounce, isn't it? And when everything is calmed down, if Michael Carrick gets a contract and he's got a 3-year contract, that's when you know how these players play for you. That's when you know if these players are going to pick it up. Because we've been here before under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. In fact, we were better. We were winning 8 games in a row, weren't we? So what I would say is that, look, things are looking good at the moment. I think what we should do. We should be smart and we should wait until the end of the season. Wait until the end of the season. We see what happens at the end of the season. We reevaluate everything, context, everything, the way we play, the style of football, everything. We see what happens, guys, and not just jump into something and then regret it later on. Because if we give Michael Carrick a 3-year contract, if it goes pear-shaped, right, guys, then we're in a bit of a muddle again. We're going to waste a lot more money again, of course. And I don't want to see Michael Carrick get sacked. We've been through that with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But look, I'm not saying that he's going to fail. This is not a signal that I believe that Michael Carrick will fail. This is that also not that. I just think that we need to bide our time. And I think we need to be a little bit smart. And I think we need to be a little bit more clever, and wait, be patient to see what's going on. Because if you understand football, you understand what's going on the pitch. You see what's going on the pitch. there is nothing that I look at that team and think, wow, it's like, okay, we've got away with that one. We've got away with that. Look, as I said yesterday, I said, luck is part of the game. Having winning games when you're playing poorly is a great trait to have. Man United had that under Alex Ferguson. We had this way about us where we could win games even through adversity. We would win games, but the difference is we would play good football and we would relentlessly press teams and outplay them. At the moment, we're like very pedestrian, even when we're playing against 10 men. And we've done that a couple of times already this season against Chelsea, against Everton, and against, against Crystal Palace at the weekend. We played against 10 men. And to be fair, we haven't played well, and we haven't exploited the man advantage. I know it's not easy to play against 10 men. I know that they play two banks of five, two banks of four, sorry. And, and 5 at the back, 4 in the middle, and 1 up front. And I know it's difficult to break down. I know it becomes very narrow, the game and stuff like that. But what I would say is this, right? Is we don't show enough press. We don't show enough urgency. We don't show enough, I would say, pace. I would say relentless pressing that we used to do, of course, bombarding the goal and stuff like that. I would say we don't do that enough, in my opinion. And to be honest with you, these kind of things I've been seeing for years, not just under Michael Carrick. I've been seeing it under various managers at Man United, of course. Big up Chadinga, how you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you, my friend. I hope everything is well. Chadinga, Newcastle versus Man United's big test. We need to win to stay number 3. If not, we'll drop down. Look, Chadinga, there's a couple of games that I'm looking at the moment, which I feel like are going to be difficult games. One is Newcastle United. The other one is Chelsea away. Never won at Chelsea. I don't know, was it 6-7 years? I know that we won there in a cup when Rashford scored that free kick. But other than that, I don't think we've won at the Stamford Bridge for a very long time. And in regards to Newcastle, we haven't won at Newcastle United since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer days. So it's too long. And I agree with Chandinga here. I agree that Man United need to win that game. They do. Because, yes, it's all good winning the games that you're expected to win, right? But we struggled at West Ham. We struggled relatively at Everton as well. We struggled, and what I would say is this, right, is Newcastle United is a massive test. They're not even the Newcastle United of last year. They're not that good at the moment. Didn't they lose to Everton at home? So what I would say is this, right, is I know we lost to Everton at home. Don't get me that. But, I mean, they lost 3-2. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, at home. And that means that they are beatable at home. And I don't know. Newcastle United do raise their game against Man United. They do have a habit of raising their game against Man United. That's what Newcastle do. They do that against Man United, and we have to respect that. Newcastle United will raise their game against Man United at St James's Park. But if you want to finish in the top 3, top 2, these are the games that you have to negotiate. These are the games that you have to try and win. They're not easy. Newcastle do raise their game against the big guys, the big guns. Of course they do. And you know what I mean? It's a proper challenge. And if we go out there and win against Newcastle United, that is one of the key characteristics for me. That is one of the big things for me. We went to Newcastle, we won. We went to Chelsea, we won. I think that would be brilliant because we've beaten the likes of Man City away. We've beaten Liverpool away. We've beaten Arsenal away. A few times, actually. But the Newcastle's away, the Chelsea's away. We haven't really done that. And if we go there and we win those games and we negotiate those games, fair play. Fair play. And you have to give Michael Carrick his dues for that. It's going to be very difficult. Of course it is. I did say that we're not going to lose another game in the season, right? When we had 14 games left, I said we're going to win 13 out of 14. So far, I'm on track, more or less. So obviously we drew against West Ham. I didn't expect that. But, we are still on track to win that many games. And if we go the rest of the season undefeated and we win a majority of the games that we have left, you're going to have to say that, well, you're going to have to look at things in a way that, well, you're going to have to give Michael Carrick a fair opportunity. I do want Man United to go through it the right way, the professional way, interview other candidates, evaluate everything, evaluate the options that we have available, and then offer him a new contract. I would say absolutely. But if there are managers like Luis Enrique available, Luis, for me, will get the job all day long for me because I just believe that, he's been there, seen it, done it, worn the T-shirt, and he's got a good personality. But whether they will do that, I don't know. Big up, Tyro Gunner. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Hope everything is blessed with you. Metal, big up Metal. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. He'll be 29 in November. The price won't be anything less than 100 million, and his injury record hasn't been great. All of that matters. Yes, he fits the number 6 role perfectly, but you have to weigh the risks. You do, Mel. Absolutely, you have to weigh the risks. This is important. You know, you have to evaluate the injury records. We've been here before with Mason Mount and all these players where we sign and they get injured after a few weeks. And we do have to evaluate. And he's not young, you know. And when you get players like Licha Martinez, right? When you get players who are injury prone in their late 20s, early 30s, it takes longer for these players to recover. It's longer for these players to recover. And to be honest with you, and we have to look at that. We have to look at that seriously and evaluate every single option. He's not going to be less than 100 million. He's going to be about 100 million altogether with incentives and that. Probably getting back 90, something like that. But, you know, what I would say is that it's absolutely right. The age, 29 in November, you know, that's over the age that we said we're going to go for, of course. And then you have to look at, obviously, the injury record, of course. Yes, he's perfect. Number 6 couldn't be better, to be honest with you. Premier League experienced in regards to football in general, Brazilian international, fantastic player. But obviously, we want players that are going to be fit, available for every single game, of course, guys, and not getting an injury after a couple of games. We thought, oh my goodness me, we spent all that money on him, and now here we are again. Do you know what I mean? And stuff like that. Absolutely. Good morning, Benny. How you doing, my friend? You legend. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Big up. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you, of course. Gomes is a good player, but it depends on making a value availability. I prefer Anderson and Tonali. I prefer that as well, Chadinga. Chadinga, that's a good... Yeah, I do prefer Anderson and Tonali. Absolutely. It's going to be very difficult to get Anderson and Tonali. It will be difficult. But again, if you want to be the best, you have to bring in the best, don't you? And, you know, hopefully we can bring in the best. This fingers crossed that we can bring in the best and the best players come in. And Anderson and Tonali would be a fantastic midfield. I like Anderson, Tonali, Anderson, Stiller. This kind of midfield, I think, will be absolutely fantastic, of course. Big up Chadinga, my friend. Big up Leeson, how are you doing? Don't you feel we making the same mistake as we did Ollie? Leeson, it's a great point. Absolutely, I agree. Obviously, we've got a little bit of PTSD in regards to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, in regards to it's almost parallel, isn't it? It's almost a duplicate of what happened with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, where manager comes in, brings back the good vibes, wins games in a row, and then we give him a new contract, and the team just goes, you know, capitulates. And I think we do need to learn from our experiences. I think we need to look at this in every single avenue, not just go by vibes, because I know that the board might go with a vibe. Oh, it's good vibes at the moment. You know what I mean? Let's give him a new contract. What we need to look at is at the end of the season, we need to evaluate game by game how we did, how we played. Possession, goal scoring, luck, everything needs to be taken into account, I think, because when it gets to next season, right, and we got the same players, a lot of them, and they're thinking, oh, we got Carrick all season now, we can take it easy. And look, I'm not saying that out of meanness or spite. I'm not saying that. I just believe that these players have done it before, and we've seen it before. There's a lot of those players at the football club who have been doing this kind of thing where they've been, you know what I mean? They've been playing well for a certain amount of period when they want the manager in, but as soon as the manager goes, we're comfy now. And as soon as the manager gets the contract, we're comfy now. It's good. You know what I mean? Metal Sal got PTSD when it comes to Carrick and Amram. PTSD when I think about someone like Nagelsmann. I'm scared. You can't be like that. At the end of the day, look, you know, the ultimate problem is this. You need to look at things for like this. It's not the manager anymore. It's not the manager, it's not the problem. Let me tell you that. It's never been the manager. The manager's never been the problem at Man United. It has never been the problem. And I will tell you that right now. And that's what we need to remember, right? What happened with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was a little bit too soft. You know, it was a problem. But in regards to Carrick, in regards to Ruben Amram, we all know that it weren't them. You know, of course, they're not exempt from blame. But, well, Amram's not exempt from blame. But what you would say is that, was he backed to the level that it should have been backed? Did he have the players that fit his formation? You know, did he have to deal with lots of issues at the football club behind the scenes on a non-footballing level? Yes, he did. And we have to look at that. And I think that is where the problem is. The problem about Man United is not necessarily on the pitch. The problem about Man United is sometimes is what we don't see behind the scenes. It's exactly what Amram said a few months ago. He goes, there's things you don't know about that are going on at the moment. And I think this is very true. We only see the problems that happen at Man United. You know, we only know what we see. We We don't really understand what everything that goes on behind the scenes. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, absolutely not. Red Times, good morning. Newcastle's most important players are Hall, Bruno, and Tanani. We can get midfielders somewhere else, but not left back as good as Hall. I like Hall, Red Times, absolutely. I love him. I think he's a fantastic left back. I think he's been the best performing left back in the country, absolutely. And I know that he's come on the fore this year. I think this year he's absolutely jumped leaps and bounds in regards to his performances, and I think he'll be an absolutely brilliant signing for Man United. Absolutely, I think that Lewis Hall is the future, and I think it'd be a massive upgrade to what we have. Yes. Having him and Dorgu on that side, having, and then we could fix the right back position, because our right back positions aren't too good either. You know what I mean? We've got to think about that as well. We need to fix that. Obviously, we've got Maz, he's good. But then again, we got to buy someone else in that position to fight for positions. I agree, Sal. We need to interview managers apart from the City and Arsenal game. Our performance is not good. We need to wait and see to the end of the season. Look, when we look at the Arsenal game, obviously we had a little bit of fortune, of course, and they gave away the ball, which led to our equaliser. But all in all, the Arsenal performance was okay. It was good. Away at the Emirates, I'll give them the credit. Man City game was phenomenal, but as we know, Man City went on to lose against Bodo Glimt just a few days later with the same defence and all that. That's before they had Gay and all these players playing for them. And, So what I would say is this, right? The Fulham game, we played some good football, but we won the game in the last minute, but we're still suspect. Of course. What other game was there? What was the other game that we played? The West Ham game was disappointing, of course. Didn't play well. 1-1 wasn't good enough. Had one shot after 80 minutes on target. Is never good enough. And then obviously we had the Everton game, which I feel like we played poorly, and then we managed to get the result by hook or by crook. We got it. But it was a poor performance. But we got the result. The Crystal Palace one, of course, was also a very pedestrian performance. We play good football in times. We have patches of good football. But I just feel like there's something about Man United. And when I look at the way we play, we do play very slowly. We play very slowly. We play very pedestrian. We don't play well. We don't. And, we're grinding it out. We're getting the VAR decisions. We're getting certain decisions go our way. That's great. But you can't rely on that. And it's not sustainable, what I would say. And what I would say is this, right? In regards to Man United, we need to start pressing. I don't know whether we need to work on our fitness. I know a lot of people are saying, we play one game a week. I actually think this is having an adverse effect on Man United. I don't actually think playing one game a week is helping Man United. I think we're becoming rusty. I do. I think we need a bit of momentum. I think this is why the Newcastle game has come probably at the right time. Win against Palace, play Newcastle straight away. I think that might be better for us, It's a massive game against Newcastle, of course. This is the one game that I'm looking at and thinking, can we win that game? Can we go to St. James's Park? And can we win the game? And we'll have to wait and see, of course. Of course we do. Big up, Kenny. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. We'll beat Newcastle, but of course we are going to struggle because of the midfield. Absolutely. Big up, Christian. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're well. I hope you're good. I don't see us losing a game in the near future. There's belief among these players that we can grind out results. Great content today. Thank you so much, Christian. I hope you're doing well. I do believe I've said it weeks ago. What's very easy, guys? It's very easy to evaluate football when it's happening. But I've actually evaluated Man United from a long time now. And I evaluated Man United from weeks ago. It was a month ago or something like that when I went on Don Hossam's channel, or whether I went on Mo's channel. And I said that Man United are going to come second or third. And obviously people were looking at me and bantering and say, you're a joker, you're delusional and stuff like that. Now, look, what are we? We're third. We are third in the league. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. It's very easy to evaluate football when it's not likely to happen. But I've always believed that Man United were getting the top four. Even under Ruben Amorim, I believe we're getting the top four. I just felt that this league is not all that. And I feel like by hook or by crook, we would have gotten the top four anyway. I actually believe Man United have got a possibility getting higher in the top three, maybe two. But obviously that depends on one of the Arsenal or Man City falling off. However, top two is good. I don't think we'll lose this season. I don't. Even if we draw against Newcastle, I don't think it's the end of the world. It is a difficult game. But as long as we carry on winning, of course, carry on not losing games. But of course, if we do draw against Newcastle, we can't go to the next game and drew that as well. We have to, football you can draw, but you have to look at winning as well, because you know what, winning is very important. You're actually better losing and then winning the next game than drawing two. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. Big up, Kristen. Red Times. I knew Carrick fouled when there was news that reduced training intensity. We played one game a week, and that was a point of reducing. I don't understand the point of reducing intensity. I don't think that works. I don't think, as I've always said, guys, that greatness wasn't achieved with comfort zones. And this sort of raised some alarm bells for me. It did, in regards to lack of training, because obviously this happened under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had this mentality where, don't worry about it sort of mentality. And in my opinion, if you're going to win things, you have to have an element of fitness. Man United, one of the things we pride ourselves about back in the Alex Ferguson days was fitness. People don't really notice it, but we went until 90 plus minutes, full on, non-stop, full on, press. That's what we used to do. If you remember, non-stop press. And that's what Man United used to be all about. And it was to do with fitness. It really was. And I think Man United are not fit. Actually, I look at Cunha, and a lot of people talk about Cunha at the moment, but I look at Cunha and I think he's less fit now than he was at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Why is that? You know what I mean? And I look at these players. I look at Mbeumo and I think that's not the Mbeumo I saw at Brighton. He looks a little bit slower than he used to look at Brentford. Sorry, not Brighton, Brentford. He looks a little bit slower. And obviously this has to be taken into account. So if you reduce training, you reduce mentality, you reduce intensity. That's what you do. These players do not deserve to have reduced training. They have not warranted reduced training. They not earned reduced training. Why should we have reduced training? Have we won the league? Have we solidified Champions League spot and we're mathematically in the Champions League? No, we haven't. So you have to carry on training. And that old saying, you've got to keep on your toes. You've got to keep going. And to be honest with you, I just don't think we're serious like that. And if Carrick is doing this, and obviously I've heard from various reliable sources that he is doing these kind of things, then what I would say is that Michael Carrick needs to reevaluate the situation and look at the ones before him in regards to taking it easy, mates rates, have a day off sort of mentality. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. Big up John O'Connell. How you doing, my friend? Thank you so much, my friend. Keeping well, my friend. Thank you for your well wishes. Absolute legend. Big up. So big up, Mamal. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. So far, so good, mate. Sleepless night again, mate. But you know what? We carry on, mate. We pray for peace, mate. We pray for peace. That's what we do. Absolutely. Chadinga, Carrick is a lacking experience. We rather get good experience coach. If the same thing will happen like in Ole's era, that's according to me, but I don't know people's views. You have a perfectly legitimate view, Chadinga. This is a good view to have. It's actually a preferable view for me to have, because I like people who think like that rather than people who are overly giddy, overly zealous, because you look at things from every single angle and you're looking at things from a past point of view. And we do have to, obviously we don't paint everyone with the same brush, but we also have to understand that Michael Carrick worked alongside Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You know what I mean? And maybe he's copied some traits from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Maybe he's learned some traits from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but we have to reevaluate this at the end of the season. And, I don't want us to lose, but if we do lose, it's going to be very, very important for us to bounce back. That's going to be the test of a true character. If Man United lose, which is a possibility, are we going to bounce back? Are we going to show character bounce back? Because under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, when we lost, we went on some ridiculous run. We started losing and started spiraling out of control, didn't we? At the end of the day, and we can't spiral out of control. And if we lose a game, it's football. Anything can happen. I want to see Man United bouncing back, and I want to see Man United going on another run. Anyone can lose games. Alex Ferguson lost games. The best managers in the world lose games. But obviously, the key characteristics with all of these managers is how they respond to adversity, is how they respond to games lost and stuff like that. Absolutely. Benny, the signs already they're here that Carrick won't be the man to motivate these players. The last 3 games, look how slow we start games behind games. We go behind before we've even started to play. Carrick is a yes man. I said it yesterday, Benny. I don't know what you think about it. Man United are like a central heating. They're like, you turn on the heater and it takes a while to get hot. That's what Man United are. And we do it every single time. And then when the half-time whistle goes, we turn off the heating and it gets cold again. And then we turn on the heating again and it gets warm again, slowly but surely. I think this is Man United in the start of the first half and in the start of the second half. This is what Man United do quite a lot, actually, at the end of the day. And we do take time to get going. We do take time to heat up. But this has been going on for a while, What's it going to take for those players to go in the pitch and just hit the ground running? Start pressing from the beginning like we used to. I remember big games at Old Trafford where under Alex Ferguson, we kicked off and straight away we were on them. We were relentless, press. We were like that from the start to the finish. Do you know what I mean? And I've not seen that for years, to be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. I've not seen that for years. We are very slow. We're very pedestrian and stuff. And we take time getting going. Sometimes we get, obviously, a goal against us to kick start things. But yet, against Crystal Palace, let's not be fooling anyone, guys. Let's not be fooling anyone. Even when we went 1-0 behind, Crystal Palace were on top. You know, they were on top. It wasn't until, obviously, we got the red card and stuff like that, that we got a lucky break. On 57 minutes, did you honestly think that Man United were going to win this game against Crystal Palace? Could you see a way Man United were going to win this game until we got the penalty and the red card? You know, and we have to look at that, and we have to look at that really, really seriously and critically, you know, in regards to it. Absolutely. Big up, Benny. You need to see for a season how he does. Now 1 plus point Ineos see is that Carrick is cheap and negotiable. Absolutely. So why give him 3 years? Give him 1 year at the most and evaluate. I agree with Amal here. I agree because I don't think we should be giving him 3 years. It's obviously the rumors that are going around that they may give him a 3-year contract. Why? I don't understand that. It should be 1 year. Reevaluate if you get 1 year stroke 2 years contract. So after 1 year, you get a reevaluator after that 1 year, and the Man United decide whether to trigger the year extension on the contract. I think that should be the thing because it keeps people on their toes, doesn't it? When you're just giving players, managers, contracts, you know, it does set the standard a little bit. It does set the standard. It lowers the standard a little bit. And I think that you have to keep managers on the toes, especially Man United managers, because we all know where we've been. We all know how many times we've been in this situation, ain't we? At the end of the day, absolutely. Roy, big up Sal. Yesterday proved that Bruno is super clusters ahead of any other midfielder and number 10 in the league. A penalty and assist versus Palace. He's our best attacking player as a number 10, not a number 8, but as a number 10, he is the best attacking player in the league, in my opinion, in regards to number 10, of course. However, we rely on him too heavily. We got a little bit lucky against Crystal Palace. There is moments that he's a little bit out the game. Of course, we have to look at this critically. He's very good at stats, unbelievable, and he's very important, right? But what I would say is that there are times when he goes missing, but he's the only one that actually consistently makes things happen for us, you know. And I would say a big problem that Man United have is the problem that Man United have had for a while now, which is midfield. The midfield would help. The midfield will help tenfold, absolutely. Do you see Cunha as a future captain? Maybe. I do. I like his work ethic. I like his personality and stuff like that, guys, absolutely. Roy, have you ever seen Wirtz, Odegaard, Eze, Szoboszlai, who Liverpool fans bend down for Turkey, do that? No. Because Bruno's better than all of those, Roy. Absolutely. Amal, by the way, Sal, I'll be surprised if Ineos will do anything of intelligence. It's depressing, but it is what it is. Nothing short of a regime change will change what happens. Absolutely true, mate. Absolutely. We need to be ruthless, man. The last few games give me Ollie vibes. I agree, Kenny. I can't say absolutely. 1 game a week won't be the problem if we had a demanding manager, not someone who lets players slack. True, Amal. Very, very good. Guys, absolutely. Slices of Sib. I told you, Sal, Almighty Carrick got the job full time. Our manager, let's go. Calm down, Slices of Sib. You're getting a little bit immature, mate. That's a little bit immature. At the end of the day, what makes you think just because of results? You got to analyze the performances as well and look at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You know, tactically what we did and stuff like that. Yes, he's got the results. Yes, it's so far so good, but we have been lucky last 3-4 games. And you have to look at that, Slice of Sib. We can't be immature like that. We can't be overly zealous. Give him a 4-year contract. Why? Has he won something here? You know, why are we going to give him a 4-year contract? Has he shown some tactical masterclass? No. Only masterclass has been VAR. That's the masterclass. You know, we have to look at things objectively. Look, I'm not saying he won't become the Messiah. But, you know, way those messages go on, Slice of Sib, I lose respect for opinion. That's what I would say. You know, because when people go over the top, oh my God, it's childish. You've got to call things as they are. When you get overly excited in that, it shows a lack of football IQ. You know, and that's what I would say, right? Absolutely. And everyone would say the same thing. Everyone with their head screwed on in regards to football. Even rival fans will say the fact, well, you're going to go for Carrick. You're like, you know, you got to wait. It's February, a month. You know what I mean? Let's reevaluate at the end of the season. Why are we going to give it a go? Look, at the end of the day, there's rumors that he might get a 3-year contract, but that would be a mistake right now. Right now, it would be a mistake. Giving Michael Carrick the contract right now, as the big content creators have, which is the reason they have 2 million subscribers, like Mark Goldbridge and people like that, the reason they're so successful because they call football really. You know, that's what they do. They call football real. They don't jump and say, oh my goodness, we give him the contract. That's not Man United. Standards here, man. Standards. Can't you remember what happened with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Do you remember? He won 8 games in a row, you know? Big up, Sal. We've been playing slow possession even with Amram was here, but just because there are results now, people make it out as if Amram was a negative. No, Amram is one of the bases of what's happening now. On Sal, I'm not convinced exactly that. I need more convincing, absolutely. You know, I do. It came from Wilcox about the training. Well, Carrick is the manager, you know. All they need, mate, or first team coach, he should be the one training them, you know. All they need, he made this club into a sinking ship. There you go. Hope you're safe there. Thank you, Lisa, and I really appreciate you guys. Absolutely. Morning, Sal. Big up, big up. He's not got anything yet. Slices a sip, so don't get carried away. You know, nothing. You know, there is a question mark. We created a lot of chances, but didn't take most of them. No. We didn't take any chances, exactly. We will be surprised if these players are now Carrick throw under the bus. Exactly. This is why we don't get guys, absolutely. Smash the likes and subscribe, guys. In what way? We got lucky with a VAR. We got a last minute goal against West Ham. We played poorly and should have lost against Everton. We against as well against Fulham, we got a last-minute goal. We were lucky. In what way, mate? We got a week off and we're playing poorly. There's no excuses. And let's not forget, how many men were we playing at Crystal Palace at the weekend? Was it 10 men? Got to wake up, man. Slice the sib, I don't think, no, you know what you're saying, man. I think you're a little bit too much. Manchester United is a third position. No more content for pundits and media. Absolutely. I wanted Enrique as the first option and Carrick if Enrique wasn't available, but our performances gradually reduced each game. We played since his tenure. Now I have Nagelsmann. See, these are right comments. These are good comments. You know what I mean? Guys. Slices it. I knew we're in this game, Sal, straight when the second half started. No, we weren't. We weren't in the game until the VAR, mate. Stop overreacting. Slices. I would have given him a 2-year contract, but 3 is very good too. It's not. So I said, you're going to get blocked in a minute, mate. Honestly, you're talking so much crap at the moment. I say, I'm only joking, but, you know, you are talking crap. So when is the match preview? I'm going to try, but I'll try. That's all I can say, you know, guys. Here we go. Big up, Den. Morning, Sal. I agree with you. Nobody should be given a 3-year deal. It should be 18 months and then a rolling year contract. Do you see Slices of Sib? Listen to this. It's intelligence, right? These kind of comments. Saves millions if it doesn't work out. Factually, Den. Factually. Facts, then. Facts. Straight facts. You know what I mean? Fake facts. Straight facts. In what way, Slices of Sib? Ole won 8 in a row. What makes you think that? Are you an oracle of football? Do you know? Ole won 3 in a row. 8 in a row. He didn't draw against West Ham. You know what I mean? So what makes you think that, you know? They're different, but what makes you think that? What makes you think that? You know, what makes you think that he's better than Ole? Why? When Ole won 8 in a row. Why? You can't say it. You can't answer the question because you're guessing at the moment. You're guessing. If you think Man United have played some vintage style of football, right, you are delusional. You are off your head and lack football IQ. That's what it is. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to tell you off, Slicer, and I know you Slicer for a long time. I'm going to tell you off for that because you are the problem. You get over carried away. You get too excited about a manager. You know, and then you get slapped in the face next season. You know, we got to make sure that we're calling things disciplinary-wise, ruthless. We have to be ruthless. Your kind of mentality is like teddy bears, hugs and kisses, unicorns and rainbows. We don't deal with that here. Absolutely. Cooler. United should be winning 3-0 against Palace and Forest and Wolves, but to barely win against 10-man Palace is far from convincing. Carrick should get 1 season and transfers should be done by Vivel. There you go. You see, good comments there. Good comments. I actually agree with all these comments. You see, no, it's not about you're doubting him and you're you know, you don't want him to do well. It's actually telling the truth of the way we played. We're actually calling the game as the game is. We're not calling the game in an overly excited slices of sip way. We're actually like calling the game for what it is. And that's how you call football. We hope that we could do that. Middlesbrough said he was too sensitive at Middlesbrough slices of sip and he got sacked. You know, so there you go. At the end, Slicer said, if you call me scared one more time, I'm sitting here in a war in a war area giving you Man United content, mate. You would be shitting yourself right now, not thinking about Man United. I have missiles going over my head. If you call me scared one more time, you will get fucking blocked, mate. I'll tell you that right now, mate. Right at the end of the day, you're only scared of yourself, mate. You're too sensitive, mate. You're a pillow. That's what you are, right? If you come out with this scared business again, mate, I will block you forever from this channel, and you can beg other people to answer your questions, mate. You understand that? Well played, okay? So there you go. Shut up. Right, so guys, yeah. So at the end of the day, we have to call the game as it is. Do you know what I mean? We have to call games as it is. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, guys, and we have to call managerial people like Sasa Sib are problems. Do you know what I mean, guys? Absolutely. Yeah, you know, and we people like Slicer Sib are too overly zealous and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. So, guys, right, okay. Yeah, your mother, mate. There you go. Slicer Sib is banned. You know, at the end of the day. Morningstar, I agree with you. Nobody should be given 3-year deal. United should were 3-0 against Palace and Forest and Wolves, but to barely win against 10-man Palace is from absolutely. Kula, stuck at a hotel cell, a Millennium Hotel, hoping to fly out tomorrow. Playing with that can fly. Praying that we can fly. Absolutely, Kula. Yeah, I hope so. Well, pray for peace, pray for the best, my friend. Absolutely. Pray for peace, pray for the best. At the end of the day, you know. At the end of the day, guys, absolutely. You know, that's what I would say. You know, absolutely. And that's what I would absolutely. That Slicer's tip had to be blocked. He's coming out with stupid comments. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know, I'm sure he wouldn't be sitting there in my condition. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Talking like this, talking about football, bring you clarity about Man United and stuff like that in the situation and stuff like that. Absolutely. But big up Kula. Hope everything works out for you, my friend. Hopefully everything will be better and back to normal soon. Absolutely, guys. Sal, now because the manager is Carrick, some fans think the performance is not important. It's ridiculous, isn't it? You remember when we had Wolverhampton Wanderers and we beat Wolverhampton Wanderers 4-1? You remember that? And people were criticizing Ruben Amorim for conceding 1 goal. Now, performance is not important. Winning against 10-man Crystal Palace with a questionable VAR decision is not important. Big up, Den. Stay safe, mate. Off to work. Hopefully, see you at 7. Take it easy, my friend. Take it easy. Big up yourself. Big up yourself. Absolutely. Yeah, look. Yeah, we like. There's some idiots in the chat just want to irritate. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Good morning, Wesley. How you doing, my friend? Missed your channel for some time. Do you think Bruno Gomes is doing a great sign alongside Anderson? Too expensive, mate. In my opinion, Wesley, I would say it's too expensive. And you know, I would say that. 28 years old. I just think we can get better. I'll be honest. And Anderson and Tonali or Anderson and Stiller would be better, in my opinion. I would say that, in my opinion. Absolutely. I would say Anderson would be better. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. But guys, I want to thank everyone. 18 likes on 50, guys. Come on, guys. Let's get 18 likes. Can we get to 18 likes? I've got 74 in the house at the moment, guys. Let's get to 18 likes, guys. Let's do this, guys. Let's get there, guys. Absolutely. Let's do that. Absolutely. Let's do that. And let's get to 18 likes, guys. Let's see if we can do it. Absolutely. I heard rumors we have 170 minutes and nowhere near enough. I think we have 300 or something like that, but nowhere near enough anyway. 170 is a tip of the iceberg, what we need. We need far more than that, Wesley. Far more. The amount of rebuild that needs doing, the amount of players that are going to be leaving Man United in the summer. It's unbelievable, guys. Absolutely. You know what I mean, guys? Absolutely. Guys, thank you, everyone. Have anybody given it a much thought as to why some group of players are in 3rd now under Carrick, but in 8th with Amorim? What was wrong with the players? Exactly. They don't want to think about that because they're thick. Give Carrick a contract and we'll be back here in less than a year. Thank you, Benny. And then Slices as it could come back and apologize. Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, thank you, everyone. I want to say thank you, guys. I have to go now. Of course, I want to say thank you, everyone, for supporting the channel. I'm going to bring content to you guys as much as I can, of course. Hopefully, things calm down very soon. And then we can obviously move on with our lives and stuff and start bringing that great content, you know, at the end of the day. And that's what I would say. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Big up, Paul. Take it easy. Thank you, guys. Thank you, you legends. Absolute legends. Thank you. And guys, take it easy. Don't worry. I'll be back later on, hopefully, with I might upload a video, so keep an eye on that one. And guys, have a great day, night, morning, wherever you are in the world. I'm Sal Warner, it's breaking dawn. Take it easy, apart from Slice of Sib, because he's a prat. Take it easy, guys. Peace.